Alright, so here we've got a 2002 Volkswagen Passat, and it's getting to be fall in the Northwest, and a lot of these cars had a problem with the heater core starting to become partially restricted, and then the vehicle loses heat. So the main problem is that, as you can see, the heater core is the highest point in the system here. So it collects a bunch of sediment and it can't flush itself, and then over time it just gets restricted, it gets clogged up, and then it's not able to flow enough to get any heat. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use the standard CLR that you might have seen in infomercials on TV, and we're going to hook up a water pump, and we're just going to flush the heater core for about an hour or so and get all the contaminants out, and we should be able to restore most of the heat to the system without having to have the customer spend $1,000 getting their heater core replaced. Alright, so now we've got a 5-gallon bucket here with, this is actually a water pump from a Ford Lightning, and as you can see, we've got a little bit of flow, but as this goes on, this flow will hopefully increase. We're flushing it with hot water in the CLR, and we're just basically running through the heater core, back out the heater core and into the bucket, and it's a closed loop, meaning we're just going to keep reusing the fluid over and over again, and we're going to flush this through for about an hour. And so if you need a water pump, you can probably hit up like Harbor Freight or an RV shop. RV store might have like a house water pump, or even maybe like an RV wreckers. You could probably pick up a pump for pretty cheap. Regardless, even if you pay $50 or $100 for it, it's still cheaper than paying $1,000 for a new heater core. So go ahead and run out and pick up one of these. Just be careful when you're hooking this up, because these heater core hoses, or the outlets on the heater core, are actually made out of plastic. These hoses can get stuck on pretty good, and if you're not careful, you can actually snap the end off, and then you're committed and you're definitely putting another heater core in there. So just be mindful of that. Alright, so we've been flushing this thing for about an hour, and you can see down in the bottom all of the rust and other nastiness that's collected at the bottom of this thing. So we're going to now go ahead and probably swap it. So we were going this one direction, going in on the left, out on the right, and now we're going to swap them around and back flush it. So now, instead of the water flowing in through this side and out through the other like it does from the factory, we're flushing the water through the side that is normally the output and back out through the side that's normally the input. We're trying to free up bits that may have gotten trapped due to irregularities in the heater core surface, mostly due to buildup that we've been trying to clean out. So now we're trying to push out the stuff that we didn't get in this other direction. Alright, so now we flushed the system for approximately an hour and a half, and it's time to disconnect the setup, reconnect the heater core hoses, fill the system, and then bleed the heater core. Alright, so now we flushed the system for approximately an hour and a half, and it's time to disconnect the setup, reconnect the heater core hoses, fill the system, and then bleed the heater core. So run at about 2,000 RPMs until the vehicle reaches full operating temperature and the thermostat opens. If your vehicle fails to reach the middle of the needle, or at certain times while you're driving, say down hills and such, it ever drops from halfway, it means your thermostat is stuck open and needs to be changed. You want a vehicle to reach operating temperature as quickly as possible, because at that temperature it gets much better fuel economy, it pollutes a lot less, and it's just better for your engine. Now the true test is you want to turn the heat on high and the fan speed all the way up. The true test is that the vehicle can hold its temperature while it's idling and the water flows substantially less, then it'll be good while driving. Even though we're at full operating temperature, right now I'm not getting very much heat out of the dash vents. That's probably because there's an air bubble in the heater core. As I said earlier, the heater core is the highest part of the system. So we're going to go out there and check it out. When you describe a component in a vehicle, you always refer to the right side of the passenger side, even if you're looking at it from outside the engine bay. So right now, while this heater core hose is on our left, it's actually the right heater core hose. And the right heater core hose has a small hole molded into it so that we can bleed the air from the heater core. The heater core just happens to be the highest point in the system on the Passat, the Audi A4, A6, and A8. So all we need to do is squeeze the squeeze clamp, pull back on it, and the natural pressure of the cooling system will cause the air to be pressed out of the hole. I normally mix coolant 50-50, but since we've been flushing the heater core with straight water, we've got a little bit of extra water in the system. So I'm going to add a little bit of straight factory Pentosan coolant. So we're going to add just a little bit to compensate for the water in the heater core. Now, coolant only needs to be 30% coolant to 70% water for maximum freeze protection. That way, if the customer gets a coolant leak down the line, they can add a little bit of distilled water to the system and not worry about having the block freeze. This bottle has the overflow right here in the top of the cap. So sometimes when you fill this bottle up, a little bit will leak out through the drain onto the exhaust. It'll smoke a little bit. Don't worry about it. It'll burn off. It's not going to cause a fire or anything like that. Now that the coolant is just about done steaming off the left exhaust manifold, I'm going to pull back this right heater core hose to bleed the air from the system so we get heat from the dash. If it's stuck on there, you can use a radiator pick tool to help pull it back. Most of the time, simply breaking the seal with the edge of the tool is enough to bleed the system. That way, if the customer gets a coolant leak down the line, they can add a little bit of distilled water to the system and not worry about having the block freeze. This bottle has the overflow right here in the top of the cap. So sometimes when you fill this bottle up, a little bit will leak out through the drain onto the exhaust. It'll smoke a little bit. Don't worry about it. It'll burn off. It's not going to cause a fire or anything like that. Now that the coolant is just about done steaming off the left exhaust manifold, I'm going to pull back this right heater core hose to bleed the air from the system so we get heat from the dash. If it's stuck on there, you can use a radiator pick tool to help pull it back. Most of the time, simply breaking the seal with the edge of the tool is enough to bleed the system. Now we're going to use the pressure of the cooling system to self-bleed the heater core. The air coming out of the dash is a little bit cold, so I'm going to have to continue trying to bleed. We tried to bleed the heater core and it hasn't worked so far. Sometimes it's necessary to remove the coolant bottle and suspend it so it's a little bit higher than the heater core. We're going to try that now. Now I've got the coolant bottle up, we lift it up higher than the heater core and attempt to use gravity to bleed the heater core better. Alright, so now we've gotten a lot better heat from the heater core. It should be noted that at idle with the fan on full blast, some vehicles will never be able to put out maximum heat anymore. The only solution for those vehicles is to change the heater core. So from time to time I do encounter vehicles that really can't be cleared permanently. Worst case scenario, every couple months or every 6 months or whatever, they have to have it flushed. And even after that, it will be cold at idle and put out moderate heat while cruising. So at that point, you pretty much just need to replace the heater core. Now, flushing with the CLR has proven to be a lot better, but it still isn't perfect. And sometimes the heater core can be coming apart inside, the plastic lining sort of shedding and clogging itself. And in that situation, no amount of flushing is going to get you heat out of the heater core. So now, as you can see, this heater core hose on the right is pushing out a solid, steady stream of coolant, indicating that it's bled the air from the system. And we're getting a lot better heat from the interior of the vehicle. It's time to put the clamps back on and take it for a test drive. The A4, the A6, and the Passat all had problems with leaves building up in the plenum drains. The battery, we get water all the way up to the top of it, and then it'll run in the cabin filter. Now we've made sure that there's no leaves in the plenum drain and removed the seal under the battery. We're going to go ahead and put the trim back together.